Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Anyways, I'm just gonna hop right into this. So for context, my friend and I were talking about working out, and from there we slowly slid into the conversation about distant family members falling for really easy scams on the internet when it comes to like exercising or working out or calorie intake. And from there my friend began to tell me about something called Slimming World. I didn't know what this was because I don't actively follow weight loss programs solely for the reason because I already know how to lose weight, and as do most people. Just two words: calorie deficient diet. That's three words. Calorie deficient. Regardless, most people know how this works. The less calories you consume, the more weight you will lose, or the less weight you will gain, which go hand in hand. But anyways, as people get older and they, become less mobile, they start to look on the internet for recipes or types of foods that'll help them lose weight. And what better way to scam older people who don't know how calorie intake works than making a program that you have to pay for while also creating a full-blown cult? And the best example of this would be Slimming World. Now, Slimming World is mostly based in the UK and Ireland, so a lot of people you see in the comments that I'm going to show later in the video use a unit of measurement called stone, which is still kind of strange because I haven't seen people from UK or Ireland use stone like ever since before seeing these comments. But anyways, stone equates to 14 pounds or 6.3 kilos. Now, the best way to describe Slimming World is like a shit cake covered in gold. It looks good on the outside, and for example of this, you'll see a lot of videos of people talking about how much weight they've lost on Slimming World. I've lost like 20 pounds on Slimming World. I lost 60 pounds. I lost 8 stone. I lost corbojillion stone or some shit. But when you actually delve into Slimming World and look how their weight loss works and the logic of it, you get a little closer and you're like, this cake kind of smells like shit. Now, speaking of logic, which honestly frustrates me the most about Slimming World is because their rules they have are not only illogical, but they're just fucking retarded. So I'm gonna start with Slimming World's categories of foods. Now, before I show these categories, they made these up on their own, and you'll kind of slowly start to see the cultish behavior that kind of forms around these categories of food, but I'll explain that a little more as I progress. Starting with the first category they have is called free food. Now, according to Slimming World, free food is healthy, satisfying food that you can enjoy in unlimited amounts whenever you're hungry. So before I even start to show what is in the category of free foods, that in of itself is some of the most stupid shit I've ever heard. So unless you're suffering from a case of basically lethal dysentery, you can't eat whatever you want and not gain weight. Not to mention in unlimited amounts. Now you might be wondering, what are these super healthy foods that you can eat in unlimited amounts and not gain weight? Well, according to Slimming World, fruits and vegetables, lean meat and fish, eggs and poultry, beans and lentils, and pasta and rice. So before I rip my fucking hair out talking about pasta and rice, all the foods in the beginning of the category are already high protein and high calorie foods. Fruits, vegetables, lean meat and fish, eggs and poultry, beans and lentils, all of that is shit people eat on bulk. And for those who don't know, a bulk is when you try to gain weight by eating a surplus of calories. Now, for the pasta and rice, I don't even think I have to say this. If you're making an attempt to lose weight, do not fucking eat pasta as much as you can. That's not how this shit works. So to boil it down, free food, you can eat as much as you want whenever you want. And given the list of foods that I showed you, as well as the fact that this is a weight loss program, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So their first category of food is already stupid and delusional. So now we're gonna move into the second category, which kind of leans into that cultish behavior. So next we have sin food, spelled S-Y-N. Now I'm pretty sure this whole name is a play on words, supposed to mean like you're sinning when you eat this food. They had some other explanation on some website about how it was supposed to be like the synergy or some stupid shit between foods, which still doesn't make sense as to why they would refer to it this way. Anyways, the description they have for sin foods is treat foods that contain lots of calories but not much nutrition. It's fine to enjoy sins in moderation, but they shouldn't form a large part of your diet. Right? So you hear this definition, you think, oh, it's just a caloric deficient diet. No, it's fucking not. Now let's delve into sins just a little bit, because if you thought everything about free foods was illogical, if there was any sort of probability that any of that works, all of that is thrown out the window with this one. Now the thing is, you can't even find that much on sins, solely for the reason because Slimming World doesn't even tell you what it is. Unless, guess what? You're a paying member of their weird little society. In of itself, the best thing I could find for this was a completely different website that had to make a speculation about what sins are. So it speculated that that 1 sin equals 20 calories. Now again, according to Slimming World, it's recommended, even though the question says how many sins are you allowed in one day, it is recommended that you eat 5 to 15 sins a day. And that's at most. The real recommendation is that you don't eat any sins. Now again, it says that Slimming World reserves its sin values for members only, though a quick skim through Slimming World recipes would suggest that 2 slices of wholemeal bread counts as 6 sins, and 30 grams of red Leicester cheese is also 6 sins. So basically, if you eat 3 slices of bread, which equates to 18 sins, you're basically an infidel and you deserve to be cast into hell. Now also, from what I've seen, eating a jar of sauce, whether it be mixed with pasta or some other sort of food, is genuinely frowned upon by the community of Slimming World. Now, anyways, we're still talking about sins, but we're gonna get into the really silly, goofy part of Slimming World, and it's about bananas. If you look up any people criticizing Slimming World, you'll find this logic about Slimming World pointed out multiple times through many different people, where they constantly talk about the idea of eating a banana whole or smashing it.
In Slimming World, if I mash this banana up, it becomes 5 sins.
Banana, when whole, contains 0 sins and is a free food. However, if you mash it, it is full of sins and demonized.
If you eat this like this, or you mash it, it's still got the same calorie content, okay?
And some even gained weight by over-consuming on the so-called free foods.
However, on Slimming World, this one is free and now this one is a sin. If I put this banana in here, it's still free on Slimming World. If I add water and put it in here and do this, it's still 75 calories, but in Slimming World, it's now a sin.
So Slimming World reckons you can eat this, but that is a sin.
Be flawed anyway. Take this banana for example. When eaten whole, it's a delicious snack and you can have as many of them as you like. When mashed, it's full of sins.
Now it has become very clear that Slimming World does not like it when you smash bananas. So according to them, if you eat a banana whole, there's no sins in that, and that's a free food. You can eat as many bananas as you could possibly stuff down your throat. But the moment you smash a banana and eat it that way, whether you rub it on toast or something, it doesn't matter, the banana immediately becomes 5 sins. So as many people have pointed out the flawed logic of this, unless you're deep throating a banana and swallowing it like a baby bird, you're still gonna chew it and mash it in your mouth. So besides this asinine logic, can you see the weird culty behavior in it? You're only allowed to eat a specific type of food per day, where they use their own unit of measurement, which still doesn't make any sense. And if you pass that unit of measurement, you're more inclined to feel guilty about eating specific types of food, which will make you not want to eat those foods at all. Likely because you feel like you're going to gain weight by consuming too many sins, in quotations. But then again, eat as much pasta as you want. And as goes for bananas, you can only eat those a certain way. Also, real quick before I continue with the culty behavior, the last category of food I was talking about is called speed food. It's basically just free food, but it's supposed to be more nutritional, and again, something that Slimming World made up on their own. Now, aside from paying a fee to Slimming World just to be part of the program, you also have to attend weekly visits, which also in of itself costs money. And in those weekly visits, you have to weigh yourself, which your weight ends up being read out aloud in that class. Now, from what I've seen in a lot of comments, people talk about that there's usually a weight loss limit that you're supposed to achieve per week when you attend those classes. And because of this, fat shaming has become very prevalent in these classes, not even by the other members, but by the directors of the classes themselves. Now, here's a small sort of a thread where someone talks about being in Slimming World, and they said, I've been going to Slimming World for over a year, and it's probably my 3rd or 4th time with them over the last 25 years. I have now just lost under 3 stone, which is around 50 pounds, or 22 kilos, and love the amount of food I can eat and the general healthy way of eating. However, over the last few months, it appears that the consultants are announcing the amount of people who have put on weight if they've had a bad week. In the past, they've only announced the loss of the weight, not the gain. When I asked the consultant why they were doing this, they said they have had always done this, which is not true. In the past, they would always say, not had a good week or have lost weight in total X amount. I feel very upset about this, and when I asked not to have my gains read out, she did it anyway. I'm not a masochist, and I feel less inclined to go and pay my weekly fee to be fat shamed in front of 30 or 40 other people. And there's a multitude of other comments talking about how people were terrified of going into their weekly weigh-ins because they were anxious about weighing in and they didn't lose enough weight. Another person said that they were at their most unhealthiest at Slimming World. They were basically starving themselves, and at the constant praise they got was insane for doing so. I also saw a lot of comments where people were talking about how when they attended Slimming World, they were told that going to the gym would turn fat into muscle, and muscle is bad because it weighs more than fat. So in short, Slimming World doesn't encourage people to be healthier, they encourage people to just lose weight. And obviously when they realize that eating bowls and bowls of fucking pasta left and right isn't helping contribute to weight loss. People are just gonna stop eating entirely or practically cut their food off in general. And they're not gonna think about calories or protein, they're just gonna start eating less and less food to hit that stupid ass weekly weight goal limit. The thing is, everyone loses weight at their own pace. So all I see is a program people are paying for to have an eating disorder and become significantly more insecure about their weight and how they look. If you really want to lose weight, look up calorie deficient diet, high protein foods with low calories. No, you cannot eat whatever the fuck you want in unlimited amounts. That's not how this works. You can't do that with any food. Slimming World is full of shit. Regardless, that's all I got. If you guys enjoyed, thank you for watching and come back for the next.